So it's an early Thursday morning here in South Georgia, and we are loaded up. I think we're going to call this the Grand Tour. So we're leaving South Georgia, 10-hour drive to Arkansas. Going to do trap maintenance there. If you don't know, Arkansas is the muddiest place on earth. So we decided to take the Tacoma just because it's small and light instead of one of the diesels. And the Tacoma is loaded to the gills. Once we're done in Arkansas, we're headed to Missouri to work on our little nonprofit project up there. And that's for another day, another story for another day. And then we're leaving there and headed to northeast Georgia, almost up in South Carolina, where we are going to bring 2 traps back to life for a customer of ours. We don't trap for him, but we sold him the systems. We've done some work for him. 2 traps that have basically been sitting still for 2 years. And so new batteries, cables, anything we can think of is headed that direction because we don't know what we're going to get into. Squirrels, coons, whatever. So with all that being said, it's going to be a long day, and we're going to be on the road probably for about a week. So as we progress, we will lose some of the material in the Tacoma and have more room for more junk. But a lot of batteries in here. The 2 systems in northeast Georgia are double gate Jaeger Pros, and we're replacing all the batteries. Camera batteries, gate batteries, ice cameras on the outside. So anyway, a lot of batteries. Hang on. All right, so 10 hours later, we are in Arkansas. Texted our landowner and friend if it was dry here or muddy. His definition is dry. So clearly, in the great state of Arkansas, there is a different definition from the rest of the world on what is dry and what is muddy. In our opinion, it's muddy. According to him, it's dry here. I'll give you a little footage here where the Tacoma just went through, and then we're headed back that way to the trap. We're running a little close on daylight, but we should be able to get our maintenance done. Never do maintenance in evening hours like this, but we've had no hogs anywhere near the trap, so we're going to go ahead and knock it out. And that would be mud, 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 definitely muddy. And we're headed back that way. Hang on. So we're back here at the trap. Had to tear half of the Tacoma out to get to the corn. Mosquitoes are up to Arkansas standards, ruthless. Aircraft carry over here where they've been landing. But we're gonna bust out some maintenance real quick. Normally we get about 6 months or so out of AA batteries, lithiums on the mine texting camera and the ice camera. But because Arkansas is so far from us, 700 miles, usually at about 5-6 months, we'll go ahead and replace them. So we're gonna do that, do maintenance on the feeder, run the system, and get out of here. So we got our corn all the way from Georgia, and got the old on-time feeder going. And as you can see, we have totally ungutted the Tacoma to get to the corn. So we got to get to it. So we got all the maintenance done, tested the system, went ahead and replaced all the lithium batteries and the on-time feeder, the ice camera, and the mine camera. Really wasn't due for it. We go through the voltmeter and test them, kind of look at the voltage, and it's like, hey, 700 miles from home, swap it out. We write all that down in the system. So when the batteries are replaced in the feeder, we put that on the side of the feeder and on the big pole for the ice and the mine camera. So living the American dream right now, fixing to eat a big ass salad off the banks of the White River. Mosquitoes have backed off a little bit. As soon as we digest this salad, 3.5 hours to Missouri. We're on the world tour. There you go, the big ass salad. And we're kind of loaded back, even though we got some empty corn bags. But anyway, all right. So y'all hang on. Well, we're headed to Missouri. May not get any footage up there. We actually may do a little bow hunting while we're up there. We're not sure yet. And then back on to northeast Georgia, almost in South Carolina. So here we go. It is November the 10th. And so you're like, well, what's the big deal about November the 10th? I'm going to show you. I just got to get a little, unzip this jacket. So for some of you, you may know what November the 10th means to you United States Marines. It's our birthday. And so it's very customary for all Marines that know each other to text, call, whatever. Today's our birthday. So for all you Marines out there, happy birthday. Beautiful day in North Georgia. Not every day you can say that because we're usually in South Georgia. But as you can see, the trap has really grown up. We've gone ahead and pulled the cameras down. We've inspected the cables going over to the double gate system. Don't see any varmints chewing on them, but we brought spare cables. I'm gonna buzz around and show it. Landowner came in and did some basically mulching so we could get back in here to it. It grew up that much in 2 years. So there's our double gate. Like I said, she's grown up. We're gonna clean her up. We can actually show you a picture of what it looked like 2 years ago. We're not gonna do anything with the outside. We want that to look like it is, but we gotta be able to see inside the trap and the camera. And now we're getting ready to just kind of get everything fired up and running. We'll get back to you. So now that we've pulled the cameras from the first double gate system, now it's all about updating firmware. We keep most of that on the laptop. It's a lot easier to bring the camera down off the poles, update the firmware. System's been down for over 2 years. So we just updated the gate camera. Now we're going from the live video. We've got some great working conditions here. Nice desk. Didn't need to break out the Starlink. We've got Wi-Fi. And then we'll head back to the trap, start plugging everything back together, and cross our fingers that everything's still working as designed. So as you can see here, we're in the Jaeger Pro app, camera management, which everybody has access to this if you have a Jaeger Pro account. Really gives you a lot of ability to do a lot more than what the app does. And then we're updating the cameras right now. Keeping your firmware up to date is a big deal. You really need to do it, but it is a lot easier just to get the camera down off the pole. And usually we do it in the field, but we're basically in the field, just sitting in this nice little building doing it. So we're back here at the trap. Went ahead and did a little landscaping on the inside of the trap. Mostly Seb did that. Just some briars, a small brush. Had a few vines growing into the gate. Cameras are up, firmware's updated. Everything's firing, system's working great, double gate. Inspected all the wires going to the double gates, and we'll kind of walk you through that real quick if you've never been around that. Kind of how we do it, how we think it needs to be done. And now we're getting ready to head to the other trap. So basically on a double gate system, you've got a wire here that runs over and goes to the control box. We went ahead and replaced all the zip ties from 2 years ago just because they were brittle from being in the sun. And then you've got this second wire that comes out and it runs all the way across. And we do not recommend putting it on the top of the panel. Coons, squirrels, anything that God created to aggravate a hog trapper is going to get up here and chew these up. So we inspected every inch of the cable going all the way over to the other trigger mechanism. Right there, you can see it. And everything looks good. You want a little bit of slack in here because when they hit these panels, you know, it could put some pressure on it. So we brought extra cable for both systems to replace it just in case. We're not big fans of anything exposed to squirrels. This is just a cable that they can chew through. Our landowner, in our opinion, got very lucky. 2 years sitting here with no attention, and the squirrels left it alone. But again, if he was pushing corn out every day like we do, then you're going to be attracted to squirrels. So probably they were like, oh, hell, it's just a hunk of steel, don't care. But you know, when you're putting these double gate systems up, again, we would drop that cable down lower, put slack, and also you got to routinely inspect these cables. I mean, routinely. So that's why we do trap masons every month to inspect everything in the system. So this girl is firing. Everything's great. We're going to head to the other one and then do that one. Then we got to run to town and get a whole bunch of corn and then come back. So y'all take care. So we're up here at the second. It's a double gate system. It's called the Hilltop. Once I do you the video footage, you'll know why we call it Hilltop. We got to keep it simple. We went ahead and pulled all these cameras, and we've updated the firmware and the live video and the ICE camera. So even on a double gate, we're running 2 cameras. So the live video looks at the trap and the opposing gate, and then the ICE camera looks at the gate nearest the live video. Once I show you in footage, it'll make sense. Then we're going to kind of buzz you around, show you the trees up here where the hogs have rubbed. This particular landowner, 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, had purchased a trapping system that did not have a camera. I'm not going to mention any names. You might figure it out. And he was like, whoa, wait a second, it worked great at first and now it doesn't work at all. And simply because he educated a pile of hogs. So, bought 2 double gate Jaeger Pros from us. We installed them. We've moved a few things around up here, but basically we haven't been on the property in 2 years. So we're gonna fire this one back up, just like we did the other one. And then we gotta run and go get us some corn. So let me give you some footage of this. This one was a little tricky to get in here. Didn't have much to work with up here. I mean, it's not ideal, but it was trapping hogs until our landowner just got too busy. Again, boosted live video. I actually think now we could probably get away without boosting it. Not much really different than the other system. Ice camera right there. And again, you know, we had a lot of trouble with the landscape just due to we're on top of a hill, but did trap several groups of hogs. And then I'm going to walk you around here a little bit and show you some of this hog rubbing on some of these trees. So you'll see here all of that. Pretty good hog sign. We've talked about this in a ton of other videos. Now you may think that's fresh. It could be a year old. That's one thing we figured out, is that once they rub it on there, it's kind of like baked on and it just stays. And so yes, it means hogs have been here. So it's what we call more historical hog damage, not current hog damage. And you can see it literally all over down here. I'm gonna zoom in way down there. You'll see it on that tree. There's a pine tree. So on a property like this, we're in northeast Georgia, way northeast Georgia. A lot of acorns, so kind of hard right now. A lot of decent sized tracts of land up here. A lot of people leave Atlanta, come up here, buy 500,000-600,000 acres. Great hunting opportunities for them, but they got hogs. And sneaky little critters up here. I mean, they got hills and valleys. And oh wow, they got a big old spider. Oh, look at that fella. But it's just tough for them. And there's actually a landowner up here right now that wants to meet with us while we're in town for a few days. He's got a 700-acre tract of land, and he bought a trapping system that doesn't have a camera, and he's frustrated. And so that's what we see anymore, is, you know, the people that call us have tried other ways to do it, and then they realize that cellular technology is the way to go. We prefer Jaeger Pro, but there are other cellular companies out there. As long as something is watching that gate and you as a human are the one tripping that gate, that's what we want as trappers. So we got to get to work. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful weather up here. And hopefully get this one fired up. Get the stress down because we know it works. And then go get us some corn. And hopefully our landowner will be back in the game. So we did have some squirrel damage on the 6-volt backup battery box. Pretty common. They'll chew through that wire. So we carry them with us. Jaeger Pro sells them. You can find some online. Basically, it's just a new cable. We've got some cables now that are actually with metal, so they're pretty cool. But anyway, we got our workbench going and we are cooking with gas. So as you can see, we've poured some corn in the trap, filled up the feeder. It's going to spin twice a day. 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the afternoon hours, 15 seconds, 15 seconds. That's pretty much standard for us. We don't want it spinning late at night, early morning, might spook a hog. They recover from getting peppered by corn, but it takes a little bit. Now, if they're used to running off of spin feeders, meaning out in the woods, or, you know, deer hunters got a spin feeder going, they don't care. But we don't know that. So we pick the hotter times of the afternoon to blow corn. Now, this trap has sat dormant for 2 years. Clearly, a bunch of hogs have walked by here, seen it. They're used to it. They're also used to no human scent. So what we did is we baited through both gates. Are we planning on trapping hogs right now? Negative. Right now, it's all about just getting corn back into the system, getting all the cameras up running, and everything's working. You've got multiple deer hunters all around here with what we call unprotected deer feeders, meaning there's no fencing around the feeders. Hogs are hitting that, they're hitting acorns, all right? Now, come the end of January, most of these guys are gonna stop feeding deer, most, and they'll remember this food source. Name of the game. So we're on to the next trap, and we might be done by dark, and that's a good day. Hang on. So we're here at the last trap. Zeb's is actually filling the feeder and doing our finishing touches, rechecking the system, 19 times, because we're literally 4 hours from home. But this is the neighbor's property, and you can see the brown patches. I'm going to zoom in on it. That's literally hog damage, where they're getting into that pasture, and very problematic for this neighbor. Now, problematic as a trapper is if we were to trap this, we're looking at a group, blah, 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 right? And they're not on board with our program. The hogs go over there. We're looking at a group of 20, and after 2 weeks, a week, whatever, we know it's 20. And then one night we only have 18 hogs, and we don't flip the switch because the neighbor just shot 2. So that's why the communication between neighbors, cooperation between neighbors is huge for an effective hog program. You got to be like, hey, we're your neighbor. We're going to take care of the hogs for you. And guess what? You don't even have to pay for it. Just let us do our thing. But it doesn't always work that way. So I'm going to zoom in on that, head back up to the trap, and we are running out of daylight, and we are almost done. So I'm standing right here at the fence. So all of that looks like somebody ran a hair over it, or in other parts of the country they call it a disc, but all of that. Any of that where you can see that dirt's exposed, that's just hogs. And again, that could be a gigantic group. It could be 5 decent sized hogs, and they're just having a field day down here. Now, I'll zoom back out. The trap is literally right there. You can kind of see it up there in the distance, kind of buried. And we'll head up that way, and we're gonna wrap this show up. So as you see, we just baited through both gates. And now what we're gonna do is just kind of go through and check everything. And we've already refired the system for about the 50th time, and the feeder's full, and call it a day. All right, so as you can see, we are wrapped up. Hopefully these videos were kind of fun, kind of different. It's really amazing to me personally. These systems sat for 2 years. Cameras still had batteries in them, 12 volts, 6 volts, gates, everything, and everything's firing. And it's not to say anything bad about any product, just that that's a long time for something to sit out in all the weather. And there you go. Fingers crossed we had no issues. System's still up and running. So I think that's going to wrap up the video for the most part. Hope you enjoyed the worldwide tour, Arkansas, project in Missouri, and then Northeast Georgia and back home. Ready to get back home. We've got hogs to trap and been on the road for over a week. And but really glad to get back on this property. Beautiful, beautiful property. Absolutely. If you never, see Georgia, Northeast Georgia, it's kind of up in the mountains, what they call the mountains. It's kind of neat, and it's a neat place. And they got a butt ton of hogs, but it's too far from our house for us to work it. So we just do some consulting up here. Y'all take care.
Thank you.